Welcome to episode number 5 of the Transformers Beast Wars podcast.
That you can find at optimusprimecast.com.
I'm Dale.
I'm Eric.
And this is the show where we are watching every single Beast Wars episode and then talking about it.
And arguing about it.
And arguing about maps. This week, Chain of Command.
Chain of Command, also known as the Flight of the Navigator episode.
Yep. An alien probe appears and Optimus is seemingly disintegrated, leaving the Maximals bickering over who is in command.
Dun, dun, dun.
Episode begins. They are investigating the henge.
Yes, the henge.
They call it the Standing Stones.
Earth? Question mark?
On whatever planet they happen to be on.
Question mark.
Yeah, something had to have put it here.
Yeah, something had to have put there. There's a kind of a recap of, wait, I thought this planet was inhabited type speech that they had in the second episode.
Who wrote this episode?
This episode is actually written by Jesse Winfield.
Okay,
and directed by Andrew Doucette.
Doucette.
I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but I'm just going to go with Doucette and leave it as is.
Very groovy. One thing that's interesting is I love the fact that it's like, 4 episodes later and 3 episodes later, and referring to something that they saw in passing.
Yeah,
in the second episode. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the cool thing about American cartoons. Don't do that. Not very often.
No. I enjoyed this episode. I thought there were a couple points where it was, I think, put together well, shot together well. In any case.
All right. Well, start at the top.
Start at the top. So we find the Maximals going in tracking down an energy source, an energon, to these standing stones, the henge. Not the Stonehenge, but a henge.
Yeah.
And they're trying to figure out what's going on with it.
Oh, if you haven't seen it, it looks like Stonehenge with a hallway attached to it.
It looks like a keyhole.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
It looks like a keyhole, a 3D keyhole.
Mm-hmm. And then a big old plate, a bowl of pebbles, a bowl of rocks in the middle of it?
Yeah, not Fruity Pebbles.
No, that would be delicious.
Yes.
Dino-licious.
Yes. Yes. But yeah, it has like a bunch of stones piled up on each other. All of them look, relatively large. So not as big as the rest of the henge, but it looks like a bunch of grapes on a plate.
Yeah, and Dinobot, Dinobot's holding one. It's larger than a basketball would be to us.
Much larger.
Yeah.
It's about the size of a beach ball.
Beach ball, that would be good.
A little bit bigger than a beach ball.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, so they're talking about what's going on with this. How did it get here?
And it's
I
stable.
don't know. And it's stable.
It's a stable energon source.
Which is something completely different from everything else that they found on this
Everything
planet.
else is raw and unstable.
And Rhinox actually brings up a good point here when it's all this energon that's here, it doesn't seem to be anything natural to this planet.
Mm-hmm. Rhinox is always looking at the camera when this stuff happens. He says, well, don't forget, we used the transwarp drive, which means that we could be anywhere in space or time.
Looking at you. Really? Okay, Rhinox,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting me know
that,
that,
note
Rhinox.
here.
And then today he told us that the topography
doesn't
of this
fit well with geology, naturally occurring energon and all.
But yeah, so that
so there's
escapade was interrupted then.
Something else happening here, and that's the great thing. There's this mystery. We have no idea what the hell's going on.
What is this henge? Who built it? Who put it there? What is its purpose? Kind of like the same questions that we have with today's henge.
Mm-hmm.
Well, our henge.
Yeah.
Our henge made of stone.
Our Stonehenge.
Our Stonehenge.
So and then the Predicons show up.
Predicons show up. Megatron does a lot of yes. Because they want it.
Mm-hmm.
They want that stable energon source.
Yeah. Oh, and that really is the thing. The stable energon is the thing that they want. They're going there for that, secondarily on a scientific expedition. They got to get to it. Even Dinobot says, we got to get to it before Megatron gets to it.
Mm-hmm. So, fight, of course, breaks out.
Mm-hmm.
They start going at it.
Good firefight.
Yeah, it was all right firefight.
The bowl of Fruity Pebbles gets exploded.
Yeah, Terrorsaur decides that the best option here at this point is to blow it up and try to take out the Maximals rather than let it fall into their hands. So, he does that. Megatron and everyone fall back. They all run away. It explodes.
But when it explodes, before the real explosion, it shoots a beam up into space.
Yeah, that's right. It
E.T.
while everything's
phone
going
home.
on, it shoots this big, huge pulse. It kind of freaks everyone out. Everyone, transforms and then makes their way before while it explodes. While it's exploding, there's this stereotypical action film moment where Rhinox is like,
oh yeah, he's running away from the
jumping.
explosion, and then they show it 3 times.
They show it like 3 different shots
to make the most out of that of all the explosives that they used in that scene. They had to shoot it from different angles, get some coverage.
Slow mo, and then Rhinox makes this pooping noise. Basically, he's like, bloop,
and then let's all go home.
Yeah.
So everybody retreats.
Yeah, everyone.
But because
retreats.
there's going to be an energon wave following it, because the
unstable energon blows up, and then it causes ripples. I'm not going to go into the actual physics of energon. That's a different course.
Yep, robots just all freak out.
Yep, they all go home. Now, when they go home, they start trying to analyze what's going on. They go into the computers and stuff, and they detect a signal. Because out in space, there's
a giant corn nut comes out of a wormhole.
I think it looks like the ship from Flight of the Navigator.
I think it looks like food.
That's my Dale. It looks like a corn nut. It looks like a chickpea. It looks like a little brain, a golden brain that comes out of the sky.
It tapers at the front. It looks like Africa.
Are we gonna get really into this? Are we gonna get into this?
No,
roll out, Dale. Okay. Roll it out.
All right. Corn nut from space.
Yeah, corn nut from space opens up, and it starts coming in. So they start tracking their progress. They're like, oh, well, wait, So it was like, oh, is it an escape pod?
Yeah, it's not a.
Is it a satellite?
It's not a stasis pod.
What is it?
But it isn't a meteor either.
So,
everybody
Megatron,
has the idea.
Yeah, everyone's Megatron's like, well, we need to go now. We need to get that stasis pod. Like they don't do any type of like really digging into it.
They really do all start calling it a probe right away. Everybody knows that it's not a stasis pod.
Well, everyone on the Maximal side does, but I don't recall anyone on the Predicons actually doing the actual research to find out it.
Not necessarily research, but they have a confrontation at the site.
Oh, at the site.
Yeah.
But that is the motivation to go out and check out what it is. They believe it's a stasis pod, whereas the Maximals know that it's not a stasis pod and it's not a piece of debris. It's something completely different.
And it landed where the bowl of Fruity Pebbles were.
Yeah.
I'll take your word for it on this one. So then they fight over the over the probe.
Yeah,
So this is another big action scene.
Yep. Everyone's not there in full force.
Oh, that's right. No, nobody's there. It's except for Optimus Primal and Dinobot go.
Yes.
Dinobot and Optimus Primal go out, and they're met by Megatron
and Waspinator.
Okay.
So they're met up there. They're confronted. They start fighting, of course. Megatron's like, I don't know what it is, but I want it. I call it dibs. I licked it. Yeah, lick the corn nut. Back off, guys.
It's food.
Yeah.
Now Optimus Primal ends up fighting with. Optimus Primal gets hit.
He doesn't even fight at all. No,
no.
The fighting goes on.
He doesn't fight at all. No, he just gets shot.
Yeah, kind of. There's this big energy pulse that comes out, and everyone reenacts the scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark. Where light is shooting out of their eyes and their mouth, and it looks like they're about to melt, or something really bad's happening to them. And then all of a sudden, the probe shoots out this energy pulse, and Optimus Primal is vaporized for lack of a better term. So then it just ends there. Everyone falls down to the ground that was still left there, and it cuts to a new scene.
Yeah, cuts to commercial break.
Yeah.
Dinobot wakes up.
He wakes up. He wakes up on a table.
No, in a pod. In a repair bay thingy, in a repair chair, in the Maximal base. He wakes up and he says, "Maximal torture chamber." Yeah. And he immediately loses his mind and tries to escape.
Now,
pushes everybody out of the way.
What I don't understand is that Dinobot has been with the crew, and let's kind of assume that they're on a somewhat of a real time thing. So every episode is a week between. They have all that time, so we're talking 5 weeks in. 5 weeks in, and Dinobot still does not know that is what a med bay is.
Okay, maybe. Okay, you got a point there.
Whenever you show up to any place, even if it's like, okay, you're new here, or you used to be the enemy, but here are the first aid kits.
Here's the
here are the band-aids.
Yeah. But in his defense, he went unconscious. He went into stasis and woke up surrounded by Maximals, and he had a Vietnam flashback.
He saw something that his mind couldn't comprehend, and he fainted.
And then he was like, I gotta get out of here. Yes, it got a Lovecraftian. It is kind of Lovecraftian. I mean, let's see what happens.
Protagonist.
Wait till you see.
So yeah, so like
he freaks out. They remind him that he's on their side now. It's all right. We're gonna be okay.
Yeah. And
what happened to Optimus Prime?
Yeah, what happened? And he's like, oh well, there was fighting and Predicons were there.
And they found him at the entrance to the Axalon.
Yeah, he was just left there on the doorstep.
Yeah, so
Rhinox said he was stripped down. So it was like, how stripped down was he?
Yeah, and who delivered him?
Well, yeah.
This is a question for the ages.
Well, but on top of which is like, okay, I'm going to drop you off on your front door, but I'm going to leave you in your underwear. I'm going to take all your clothes. I'm going to take all your stuff.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, how stripped down was Dinobot? Yeah. Like, was he like not allowed in beast form? Like when he collapsed, he was in mech form. He was in bot form.
Yeah.
He wasn't in beast form.
Yeah.
So if he was left outside during that period of time, like wouldn't he have fried by then?
No, the thing is that the energon just causes stasis. They don't die. They just can't function.
But it caused permanent damage. Because that was the whole thing about changing into the beast form. When you change into beast form,
no,
we can't
it's
stay.
just that they were just overloading. They were just overloading, and it turns them off. They go into a coma.
But there was
it doesn't.
They said permanent damage. They said permanent damage in the first episode. Go back to the first episode, guys, and look at it. In any case, so they find him.
But he's in pieces, not in robot mode.
All right, so he was dead. Is that what you're saying? He was dead.
No, we're rolling out on it. Yeah.
There's enough in this episode to argue about later.
Yeah, there is.
So he goes and he says, "Okay, yeah, they came here, and then all of a sudden that probe it destroyed Optimus. He's dead, terminated. He's gone. No, I'm going to be your leader. I'll box you for it."
Rat Trap's not buying it.
No, he doesn't. He jumps up and he's like, "Who died and made you Prime?" It's like,
Optimus Primal did.
Prime did.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so there was this big I'm going to take it by force. And then Rat Trap's like, no. And then Rhinox interrupts and says, I know, guys. We're going to sell this in maximal fashion. Dance off.
When he said in the proper maximal tradition or whatever, I was really hoping for him not to say secret ballot next.
Which he did.
Yeah, you said rock paper scissors. Yeah, you said rock paper scissors. Dance off would have been good.
Let's see what other forms of
Olympic
traditional
games.
Olympic games.
Arm wrestling.
Arm wrestling, Tetris fight. I don't know.
Yeah, log toss.
Log toss, drinking challenge.
Yeah, drinking. Yeah, it's a drink. Yeah. Another scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark where they're just doing shots at the table, staring at each other. But unfortunately, there's 4 of them, which makes it possible for there to be a vote.
Yeah. So Rhinox goes and institutes secret ballot. Now, I have a major issue with this because it's like, okay, they put the secret ballots in, and they're like, okay, here are the tallies, and of course, it's 2 for Rat Trap, which is odd, and then 2 for Dinobot. Mm-hmm. And Rat Trap goes, okay, what are you traitors of beasties that voted for a Decepticon? Predicon. And it's just like, yeah, like who? Okay, so I actually broke this out.
Okay. Oh, really? Yeah. You got a spreadsheet of all the possibilities?
I have a diagram here
of whether Cheetor or Rhinox would have voted for a Dinobot?
Yeah, so like we have 4 characters, and obviously Rat Trap is probably going to be voting for himself. Dinobot's of course going to be voting for himself. Now the only 2 wild cards that we have are Cheetor and Rhinox.
Yeah.
Now you would think that Rhinox, being that he's the most tried and true, I guess, Maximal, and it is more in tune to what Prime's motives and feelings and wishes would be, that Rhinox would be voting for Rat Trap, because that's what Prime would probably want, right? And then Cheetor, well, up until recently, let's face it, Cheetor didn't like Rat Trap at all.
Yeah, they fought in the first, when they first met.
Yeah, but like after the web episode, they became pretty good friends. Like, I mean, found respect for Rat Trap.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that Cheetor's newfound respect for Rat Trap versus the lack of trust that he would have for Dinobot after the last episode.
He never found out that Dinobot was jerking him around.
I don't know.
He never found out. He's far too bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He's still green, you know. He's still wet behind the ears. He voted for Dinobot. He definitely voted for Dinobot.
I don't think so.
No, I do. Well, it's obvious that he did.
No,
Because Rhinox shows sympathy for Rat Trap for the rest of the episode.
Well, here, that's another...
Oh, okay. Oh, you do have this in your chart?
Well, in the chart, I think Rhinox actually did, in fact, vote for Dinobot, and that's one of the reasons why he got so defensive in regards to Rat Trap's thing. It was like, okay, who voted for him?
Uh-huh.
And he's like, that's why they call it a secret ballot. Don't ask. It's a secret ballot, silly. There you guys.
Secret ballot is secret.
Yeah, secret ballot is secret. Secret. So, yeah. So, like, after that... what was I going to say? Oh, yeah. I only... after that, the episode basically transitions when they're fighting more about it, and then Prime comes through on the intercom.
Uh-huh.
He messages in from the probe, live via satellite, from the inside of a probe.
And very calm.
Very calm.
He's like, hey, you guys.
Hey, guys. Hey, what's going on? Hope you guys aren't fighting.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys aren't fighting. I'm sure you guys are handling this peacefully.
I'm kind of tied up in the moment, so, Rat Trap, can you be in charge? Yeah, Rat Trap's in charge. Don't stay up too late. No watching anything on pay-per-view.
Yeah, and the Predicons will probably attack you.
Predicons might attack.
Now that
now
that you're outnumbered.
Just take care, all right? And it's like, okay,
Prime out,
right.
mic drop.
Yeah. So, like, I've come to find that this is the either the writers or the producers foresaw the amount of hatred that everyone was having towards Rat Trap because, let's face it, the voice acting for Rat Trap in the episodes up to this point, the character itself, aren't really all that likable. You want to hate him so badly.
Yeah, he's not likable. He's not a likable guy.
No, so I think this is the...
You wouldn't pick him first when you're playing dodgeball.
Correct. I think that this is the producers and the writers... hey, back the heck off of Rat Trap episode.
Yeah, well, it's just his turn. I mean, he's like... Dinobot and Rat Trap are the characters that we have the most mixed feelings towards, especially with what they're giving us. Dinobot, where's his allegiance? Is he going to be a Maximal, or is he a free agent, or is he really a Predicon in disguise? And then with Rat Trap, kind of the same thing. Is he going to be a team player, or is he just going to fly the coop as soon as he has a chance?
True. So, Rat Trap's in charge.
I never even thought that he would want a leadership position. He struggled with Optimus in the first couple of episodes.
He alludes to it in the first couple of episodes, basically like telling Prime, he's like, "Why are you doing it this way?"
Yeah.
Like, I know that that's a bad idea. Mm-hmm. Like, I know better. So I think, I don't know. Like, I mean, as far as Prime's decision to put him in charge, maybe it was, okay, this is Prime talking. Maybe Rat Trap should have a chance at taking leadership. He showed some initiative. He's done some good jobs. Give him a little bit to kind of show what he can do. Let's give him a chance.
Yeah, I still would have thought that it should have defaulted to Rhinox.
I agree that it should have defaulted to Rhinox, the most level-headed of all.
Yeah, the one that makes sense, the smart one.
Yeah, but of course he's appointed in command because of reasons.
Yeah.
So on cue, as soon as the transmission ends. The Predicons
attack. Big fight.
Yes, because...
Awesome fight.
Because Megatron gives this big speech about, I know the Maximals. With Prime dead, they're going to be all crying and going, woo, 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 poor Prime, he's gone,
fighting
I don't
amongst
know
themselves.
what we're going to do. And fighting amongst themselves. Because that's what Megatron says. Yes. So they all attack.
So they do attack. The base is under attack. Rat Trap orders Rhinox to stay behind and start developing, under fire, a device that will extract Primal's spark from the thing and reincorporate it into his body, which is also currently missing.
Yes.
Because his consciousness is intact, but his body is out to lunch.
It's taking a little vacation.
Yeah, it's on
holiday.
It's out to lunch in the corn net. So
it's taking 5 in the brain of something.
I like how Rhinox doesn't even get a lab. He's sitting on a stool with some duct tape and some antenna.
Well, I mean, because in the scuffle of I'm in charge, you're in charge, whatever, Dinobot does the table flip, man. He's like total rage quit.
Oh, that's
the
right.
Table.
That's great. He flips the table, so that's why Radix doesn't have any place to work.
He's working on a crate. So,
It's a milk crate.
While that's happening, after that, Rat Trap orders everyone else to go ahead and go on the defensive, engage the enemy. And Dinobot's like, oh, heck yes. This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Finally, you're starting to talk some sense. So they start fighting.
Great bit where Dinobot and Megatron are finally facing off. Dinobot wanted to face off against Megatron outside of the corn nut earlier. Mm-hmm. And they never got to do it because they all got electrocuted. And now he's finally able to come at Megatron.
He also wanted to have that first fight on the first episode.
Yeah. So, we've been wanting to see this.
Yeah, He's
been wanting this.
This could have just ended everything right at the first episode. It actually was, if Scorponok didn't shoot him on, Megatron's command.
Yeah.
But yeah, excellent fight scene.
It was cool, man.
Excellent fight scene. There were a couple of cheesy moments, like when it first started, where it's like, okay, Megatron's attack was basically just swinging his arms left and right.
Well, he was turning like you would rotate the toy at home. It's just turning the. You just stick your Dinobot toy in between the arms of your Megatron toy, and then just turn them.
But then it actually starts getting into some pretty excellently choreographed fighting stuff. Like there are some nice fist movements. There's lots of hand-to-hand stuff. Basically, that's what they're doing. I mean, Megatron and Dinobot are
pro.
Yeah, they're fighting it out. There's some great shots, cinematography in that, making it look not so cheesy. Like the
good.
scene.
Yeah. Dinobot's punch combos were great.
Yeah,
it was much better than most other animated fist fights that I've ever seen. It's like watching cartoons dance is usually very painful, and watching cartoons fist fight is usually not very fun. But he was punching fast. You don't have that stupid slow animation. Yeah. That's a serious drag on any exciting stuff that could be happening on the screen at any given moment. The only part that was slow was that first kick. Dinobot winds up and does this flying kick that lasts for a month and a half.
Yeah,
and Megatron doesn't see it.
And he literally flies 100 feet in this flying kick position, and Megatron's like, "Well, I see this
keep
coming
running towards your foot."
Well, I'm already committed, so I'm just gonna take it.
But it was awesome. In the meantime, Pterosaur is shooting at the.
Everyone else is
shooting at the base. So they're wearing down the shields that are around the Axalon. And I think that at some point or another, the console that controls the shields, which is on the outside of the ship, it's on the landing platform. Yeah. Why would you need that in your elevator?
For reasons.
Hey, could you go in the elevator and start up the shields?
You're sitting in the cockpit. You have to go down 3 levels, go over to the landing bay, and into the elevator to engage the shields.
Yep. So I guess the button got pushed. And the shields are starting to fail, and Rat Trap sees this happening. It orders Dinobot to go repair the shields.
Big throwback to the first episode where Prime tells Rat Trap to go help out Cheetor.
Yeah.
And Cheetor and Rat Trap is like, "Ha!
Yeah.
No." And Dinobot basically says the same thing. I'm busy and fighting.
He was currently engaged.
He's not only currently engaged, he could break it off, but he was just so adamant about finishing this fight.
Mm-hmm. He finishes fights.
He finishes what he starts. It's an admirable thing.
He was dino boxing.
He's a good man. Good, solid man. That's what you do. You finish what you start.
Damn straight.
Yeah.
So
so the shields start failing.
Yeah.
Pterosaur starts taking some last shots.
And Rat Trap's
like, all right, fine. You know what? I need to do this.
Yeah.
I'm not going
to give
an order for anything that I am not going to do my own. Do myself. So he starts making a beeline for the platform.
Why do they call it a beeline? Bees don't make lines. They make squigglies.
They do make squigglies.
They don't fly a line. But anyway, yes, he's running towards the button. The repair that has to happen is the push of a button.
Yeah. You need to get those shields back up by pressing the button after the shields fail.
Yeah.
So if the mechanism that creates the shields fail, you could just press the
button
on again to turn it back on.
It's like calling tech support. Have you turned it off and turned it on again, but you don't want to be pummeling it while you're doing that.
Maybe. So he starts running towards the
console.
console.
It'll make the needle skip on the record.
Does some serious John Woo action stuff where he's like, "Oh no, you don't!" Goes and does this weird like forward flip with a twist, turns around, floating in midair.
Yeah.
So he pulls up his gun, shoots Pterosaur.
Yeah.
And then
twice even.
Turns around,
Mm-hmm.
hits the button before Pterosaur's shots can hit the exposed hull.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything is saved?
Yeah, everything's better. And then Tarantulas suggests to Megatron, maybe we should get out of here and go back to the coordinate.
Not until
Dinobot
actually hands Megatron's tail to him.
Oh, yeah.
I was trying to keep it clean. But yeah, Dinobot gets the drop on Megatron. Like, he totally just blows him away, knocks him on his butt.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he won the fight.
Yep.
So, like, if that fight took place in the beginning of the series, in the episode, well, guess what?
Yeah, we would have had a different set of Beast Wars.
But yeah, so that all took place. That all
The
happened.
Predicons retreat, and Dinobot apologizes.
Yeah, Dinobot apologized. Like,
Yeah.
"Hey, listen.
Yeah, he
I
is
understand."
dishonored.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, once again, a throwback to the first or second episode where,
Mhm.
he's talks to Prime about honor and...
Yeah, so now,
Marvel.
so he'll do some deception, but he's...
I'll stab you in the back,
Yeah, but not to your face.
but not to your face.
But he has priorities. But the thing is, I think that the thing that you can learn about Dinobot in this case is that it is context sensitive. If he thinks that there's an objective to be, there's an advantage to be gained by his deception, then he'll deceive. But he's honest about it when it doesn't work.
Yeah.
In the heat of the moment, we are in battle. This isn't a political game that we're playing right now. This is a tactical game. And if I followed orders, things would have been better faster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So that's kind of a thing. There's like this honesty and honor involved in the Dinobot character.
Which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah. I don't know. Like, sometimes I really just want to hate the guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then he pulls stuff like this.
Yep.
It's like, man,
Yeah.
why were you such a jerk in the previous episode?
So we got that going on. So now we have new respect for Dinobot and Rat Trap.
And Rat Trap, like, completely for Rat Trap.
Mhm.
So
yeah, who proves that he could fight.
yeah, he could fight. He can make decisions under pressure. He's not just all, "We're gonna die."
Yeah, we're all gonna die. And then, so then they're going back to the probe.
Yeah, they decided to go back.
Now
to
they're going to
probe.
go back to the probe because Rhinox has apparently had roughly enough time to not be sure whether or not his device is going to work.
Yep, and of course, the Predicons also made that decision,
Yeah.
leaving right from the base.
Right from the
basically,
base, yeah.
going to the probe. Somehow,
The Maximals
the
get there
Maximals
first.
get there first, even though they go back inside to get all everything else and meet up with Rhinox. In theory, because they don't show it.
Yeah.
Obviously, they would have to meet up with Rhinox. Is it working? I don't know if it's working. He fell over 5 times
We're
while you
going to
guys
see
were
how this
knocking
works.
the ship around.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. We'll see. So, yeah, they head out. They get there first. They start reaching out to Prime, I guess. They could talk to Prime now without the communication
I
system?
don't know, maybe they're radioing him.
I don't know.
Either way, they're talking.
Yeah.
And Rhinox says, I'm going to try to get you out of there.
Hold on tight, Prime. Alright, so, but once again, as you do
Megatron
at the
and-
probe, Megatron and everyone else show up. And
Another fight?
they fight.
Yep, another fight.
Another fight.
Another fight. Rhinox runs around behind the thing to get some cover and try to extract Prime.
Yes.
Primal.
The others
Primal.
kind of do a very similar thing. However, for some reason, everyone's like frantically shooting their guns and squatting down and and like backing away towards cover while maintaining firepower on there. Dinobot is just kind of casually walking and then turning his head, firing his eye lasers. Like, like he could not even be bothered. It's like, okay, all right. Like, honestly, watch it. It's just hilarious.
He
It's
can
like,
take a hit.
Okay.
He's like, come at me, bro.
whatever,
I will
alright."
look at you with my laser eyes. Did he use his laser eyes against Megatron?
Yeah, that's
That's
how
he finished the
that's
fight
how he
earlier.
finished the fight.
Right on. Laser eyes are the best.
It's like, why didn't you open up with that, bro?
You don't open up
Instead
with
of-
that. That takes up too much energy.
Instead of the 80-foot flying kick. I know,
Mhm.
it went down to 20 feet from
Yeah.
the last time I said it, but the point still stands. In any case, so they're fighting. They're trying to get Prime out of there, and
Waspinator starts
things don't seem
sneaking
to be
up.
working.
Nothing's working.
And like you said,
Yeah, Waspinator starts sneaking up on Rhinox, and he's drawn on Rhinox, and he's sneaking up Scooby-Doo style. And but
luckily for Rhinox,
this is a very shiny corn nut.
the renderers only had a certain amount of metallic,
Yeah.
yes, metallic textures that they could put on there, so it was effectively chrome.
Mm-hmm.
And the reflection.
Yep, he caught Waspinator in the reflection, and then turns around and brings out the most gigantic gun in the universe. It's so awesome. I have the toy. It spins and shoots Gatling guns, dual Gatling guns.
And he just opens up, like completely opens up on him.
He shreds Waspinator. Takes off his arm.
This shot lasts for a good solid 10 seconds.
Yeah, it's a lingering shot of how many rounds are getting buried into Waspinator.
His arm gets shot off.
Yeah, his arm is
chest
taken
is
off,
ripped open,
and he gets pushed into one of the standing stones.
The thing that this shot in particular, the fighting scene with Waspinator, reminds me almost to a T of the gory scene from Total Recall, the escalator scene.
Oh yeah.
From the original Total Recall, not the remake that came out last year.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, man.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Total Recall. The guy in the escalator, Arnold Schwarzenegger just grabs him, uses him as a human shield the entire duration. He's just getting pummeled, and it's just it's just hamburger meat just kind of flying out. But yeah, that's basically what it was. So he falls backwards.
Oh, and during this, Rhinox also does breaks the fourth wall to let us know that this whole place is acting as if it might be one giant device.
Yes.
This isn't like components. This isn't just a housing thing that had the pile of rocks in it, and then when the rocks went away, the beam went out. These aren't all independently working. These are all parts of a greater machine. There's a device.
Yes.
It's a big device.
What I think was the big trigger there for the second pulse that was sent out or whatever was when Rhinox shot up Waspinator so much that he was shorting out and exposed and everything.
Yeah, he's shorting out, leaking energon and mech fluid.
Yeah,
all over the place. He ends up bumping into the perimeter of the device, and activates it, which makes the core nut open up, and there's totally a chamber in there.
There is a chamber.
There's a chamber, but no body.
No body, and a lot of weird camera on hoses type thing.
Yeah, there's some stuff in there. Yeah.
It opens up in a weird fashion, kind of like a.
How does it open up? It opens up like a roll top desk. Two roll top desks opening up in opposite ways. Yeah. Yeah,
the two folds in the top of this.
It opens like an eyelid.
Nut. Yeah, like an eyelid. It opens up. There's a little oblong capsule or something in there that also opens up, and this energy builds up and shoots up in the sky. And lo and behold,
look who's back and feeling prime.
I don't know what he said. And feeling something.
No, it says and feeling, only divisible by one in itself. That is what he does in fact say.
And then he just shoots everybody once and wins the battle single-handedly.
Yeah, and then everyone goes away a little bit, and then the probe shoots off.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why we're laughing, people, is that this next
when the
scene,
probe shoots off, we see an exterior shot of this planet.
Of Earth? Question mark?
It's 2 moons and we can see 3 continents.
Yeah, 3 land masses.
We see 3 land masses, some of which may or may not be in the southern hemisphere. And some of them may or may not have pyramids on them, or squarish pyramids on them.
So, the 2 most dominant land masses, the one that's most prominent, I believe it looks very much like South America.
Mm-hmm.
Dale thinks that it looks like either a tree, broccoli, or Africa. Now, the bit of, if you were going to go, if take for instance,
go on and freeze frame this.
That was South America. If you go further east, that landmass that you could see going into the shadow is round like the back of Africa, the western part of Africa. But Dale doesn't seem to think so.
No, it was mostly just Josh and you.
So this argument actually went on for a good 20 minutes.
Yeah, it went on for a while. We brought out iPhones and we compared pictures and notes and stuff.
And then we started going on, and then Dale all of a sudden said,
"Oh, well, due to spoilers that are going to happen, we really can't have this discussion right now because I do know the answer to this
which is
question."
a jerk move. Biggest jerk move ever.
But before that, that awesome lingering shot that can cause too many debates.
Yes.
Optimus Primal congratulates Rat Trap on a job well done as leadership in his absence.
Mm-hmm.
And Rat Trap says,
hyenas.
These hyenas, yeah. The job's not worth it. You can have them. So this is solidifying Optimus's role as leader.
Yeah.
Even. I mean, it's early on. Us as the audience is going to take for granted that Optimus Primal is the leader because his first name is Optimus. And but the thing is, he's not a general. He's the head of a scientific expedition. He's the captain of a ship. Yeah, he's the captain of an exploration ship. And Dinobot is very battle-minded, which would give him more leeway as far as like us accepting him as a military leader. Rat Trap is oh man. Rat Trap's a jerk that nobody likes, but now we have a little bit more respect for him now that we've seen him.
He's the jerk with a heart of gold. You're so selfish, Rat Trap, but you're such a kind man.
So we close finally with just the statement of the obvious, and the obvious is that there is a mystery afoot. Something strange is going on this planet. There is a third party involved in this story now.
Oh, we forgot to bring that up. After it opens up and after Prime comes out and everyone is defeated on the Predicon side, Megatron basically gives up. He's like, "Okay, well, you've won this day, Prime, or you won this trophy of this probe.
Yeah,
but
you get the probe.
Be careful. Not all aliens are beneficent." It's like, really? You really had to?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's like, okay,
well,
bye.
what did he? Yeah. He should have given himself that same advice when he wanted the thing. He's like, this could be dangerous for me. Yes, but that doesn't mean I'm going to give it up. No. But now that I've lost this fight, I'll give it to you. Yes. But remember, it could be dangerous. Yes. So Megatron runs off, the probe flies away.
Yeah,
and the Maximals ponder the implications of this new and awesome mystery.
And it really makes you wonder. Like, I mean, this episode, was great in many different ways. You see a lot more character building with Rat Trap. You see a lot of more development with Dinobot and, like, his personality. He's not as cruel or dominating as he was in the previous episode.
Mm-hmm.
There's lots of different facets and sides to it.
Everybody's learning.
And if you believe, like, my diagram here of the secret ballot, then there's obviously some questionable motives behind either behind Cheetor or what I believe is to be Rhinox. Like, why would they? One of them would have to believe that the best option is Dinobot
in the absence of Optimus. Well, let's see if next week's show is about Rhinox.
We'll see.
It seems about time.
Yeah,
it's the 5th episode. Everybody else has
gotten their show.
Unless we're gonna have an Optimus Primal episode where we find out, I don't know, where he went to Cybertronian Science College.
I don't know, but there are also really great mysteries and questions that are arisen in this episode. Like, where did these henges come from? What planet are they on? And what is going on? Yeah.
Who's the third party?
I have a theory.
You have a theory?
I have a theory.
All right.
5 episodes in, I have a theory.
Okay.
I'm thinking that the henge was set up originally to signal probably a earlier form of maybe the Transformers. That the Energon arrived on the planet by contamination. Because we know that from the previous series,
Mm-hmm.
that there is energon on planets naturally. There's naturally occurring energon in minute amounts that they could mine and process and refine and everything else. So it would make sense if they went to this planet like many, many thousands, millions of years ago or whatever, and then by mining accident or whatever, saturated the environment or contaminated the environment where energon was growing at a really crazy pace, that, you know, it starts growing like it is with, you know, veins and in mountains, and it's too powerful that they can't even inhabit the planet because it's so strong. If this is Earth, we'll just say it's Earth, right? Okay.
Yeah.
All the inhabitants, because the Transformers at that point feel so bad that they contaminated the planet, they took all the humans and took them off the planet and recolonized or dropped them off on a colony somewhere.
Earth 2.
Earth 2.
Uh-huh.
Electric Boogaloo. And then this signal was supposed to be a kind of like a Wall-E situation where a probe would go and assess the environment and see what it's like, so
To see if it's safe to return?
It's safe to return. And that would explain why the energon source in the structure is a stable one. The stone structure, the structure itself, is a material in which it would not be affected directly by energon. And the signaling thing. It's a wild and stupid theory. But I don't know.
I see where you're going with it. One thing that's not
These are the questions that are popping in my head.
Yeah, but one thing that you didn't address, though, is that these are all Transformers, and they don't recognize it as Cybertronian tech. They don't recognize it as Cybertronian tech, and one of the things that was said by, I think Rhinox said it, is that now whoever they are, they've learned something from stealing Optimus Primal's body and probing him, and then releasing him back into the wild, and so they know something about their physiology, and they also know that they have destructive capabilities.
Yeah, but that can be said for any type of probe. In any case,
Rhinox wouldn't have said that to 10-year-old boys for absolutely no reason.
Yeah, but at the same time, the transwarp drive could go in anywhere in space and time. That was a really horrible Rhinox impression, but
that's fine.
But that's what it is.
Yeah, all you have to do is chew a little bit and you can sound like
Sorry.
Rhinox.
Okay. Give me some gum. I'll see what I could do. But yeah, I mean, if it's going in time, then it is feasible that they left at a time that was, you know, earlier, arrived at a planet that was thousands or millions of years in the future, where they wouldn't recognize the tech, especially if they needed to alter that said tech in a way that wouldn't be affected by the large amounts of energon.
Oh, okay, so super advanced Cybertronian tech might look like stones.
No. Super advanced
stones and corn nuts. It's a fire pit.
Cybertronian tech is able to figure out that they can make it out of stone for it to work with an energon power source.
All right, I see where you're going with
And if I'm going to elaborate further on this theory, the way that it would work is with the natural vibration frequency of the stones and the positions to create a note, so to speak, or a signal that is generated by the crystal of energon.
Oh, okay. And then that could send that out into space.
Yep.
Yeah, we conserve energy too, because you wouldn't be having to run the machine the whole time.
Yep.
Especially if it was triggered by a small explosion.
Yep.
Well, let's see where your theory takes us.
Only 14, 15, 20 episodes before that theory pans out.
Is it?
I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just pulling that out of my
Oh, no. A little bit sooner. Well, there are 52 episodes. There are 52 episodes, so I don't know. No, you know what? It really might be like 15. It might be something like 15 about this time, because I think that it's going to come to a head towards the end of this season.
Well, on that note, I guess you guys are just going to have to find out when I find out.
Yep.
Or if you've already seen that series, you're going to have to wait until I find out.
So for now, I've been Dale.
And I've been Eric.
And you've been listening to the Transformers Beast Wars podcast,
which you can find at OptimusPrimecast.com.
Roll out.
Yeah.
High five.